What if I told you that the secret blueprint for running pretty much any successful service business isn't in some stuffy textbook, but it's actually hidden inside the, let's call it controlled chaos of a high-end kitchen renovation? Yeah, I know, it sounds a little crazy, but stick with me. We're about to break down how this one super complex industry is basically the ultimate masterclass in sales, systems, and most importantly, scaling.
So let's just get right to it. What on earth can a messy, stressful, and seriously expensive kitchen remodel possibly teach you about running, say, a web design agency, a marketing firm, or even a software company?
The short answer? Pretty much everything. The principles are totally universal, and the kitchen renovation is just the perfect, high-pressure lab to see them all in action.
So think of it like this. It's the ultimate business classroom. In business school, you learn a lot of theory, but in a high-stakes kitchen reno, you learn survival. A project this intense doesn't just suggest you have good business practices, it demands them. It forces you to get crystal clear, to build trust, and to create systems, or you fail. Let's see why that is.
I mean, just think about the pressures at play here. It's so complex, it forces you to have a crystal clear plan. It's so expensive that you're not just selling cabinets, you are selling the trust that you won't completely wreck someone's home. The stress, which is inevitable, becomes this incredible motivator for creating systems to prevent chaos. And because it's so visual and so personal, you get a crash course in marketing and client empathy. It's basically the perfect storm for learning.
All right, let's dive into our first big lesson. You're selling trust, not tile. This is all about the psychology behind making a big sale, and spoiler alert, it has almost nothing to do with the actual product itself.
This right here. This gets to the absolute heart of it. A $50,000 transaction, that's not about cabinets and countertops. It's a huge leap of faith. The customer's buying the confidence that you're going to deliver on a massive promise. And that principle, it applies to any high-ticket service out there.
And think about how that trust gets built. You see a sloppy, handwritten quote, it just screams, "I'm kind of guessing here." It creates anxiety. But then you see a polished, detailed, professional proposal. That says, "I'm a pro. I've done this 100 times. You're in safe hands." The price might even be higher, but that feeling of safety, that's what closes the deal. You're not selling a kitchen, you're selling peace of mind.
And get this, here's a staggering statistic that most businesses just completely ignore. A full 80% of these big deals are closed after the fifth contact. The fifth. So the real money isn't in that first phone call. It's in the persistent, professional, and valuable follow-up. And that's where having a system becomes totally non-negotiable.
That statistic about follow-up leads us perfectly into lesson 2, going from chaos to control. Because following up 5 times isn't about working harder, it's about having a system. This is where we realize that smart systems, not just pure sweat and effort, are the real hidden engine of profit.
And here's the hard truth for so many business owners. You can be the absolute best craftsperson in the world. But if your administration is a mess, if quotes are late, invoices are forgotten, communication is a disaster, you are just leaking profit everywhere. The real money isn't made on the job site, it's made in the office.
You see, profit doesn't just disappear. It leaks out through all these tiny little administrative cracks. Forgetting to follow up, waiting weeks for a payment, miscommunication between your team and the client. They all seem like small things, but they are absolute business killers. And notice the pattern here. The solution is never just try harder. It's always build a better system. Simple automations can plug every single one of these leaks.
And hey, building that system, it's not as scary as it sounds. You can really think of it in 3 simple layers. First, automate your communication. That's the front-end stuff. Second, automate the workflow. That's the middle part, from quote to completion. And third, automate your analytics, so you can actually see what's working and what's not.
Okay, this brings us to our final and, honestly, maybe the most important lesson of all: learning to think like a CEO. This is about that huge mindset shift that's required to go from just having a job to actually building a business.
This slide just lays it out so perfectly. The worker mindset? That person thinks in hours. Their focus is on doing the job that's right in front of them. The CEO mindset, on the other hand, thinks in systems. Their focus is on building the machine that does the work. Their job is to design the workflow, not to just be another cog inside of it.
So what does that CEO focus on, if not the tile grout? They focus on these 4 pillars. They get obsessed with the engines of the business, bringing in new customers through marketing, closing deals with sales, making sure delivery is smooth with operations, and tracking it all with finance. I mean, this is the blueprint for scaling any business in any industry.
And just let this quote sink in for a second. If the business can't make a single dollar unless you are physically there, you haven't built a business. You've just built yourself a really, really demanding job. True ownership means creating something that can function without you.
So let's bring it all together. What we've really been putting together piece by piece here is a universal business blueprint, a kitchen mindset that you can now take and apply to absolutely anything you want to build.
Because every single service business, I don't care if it's renovations or consulting or web design, follows this exact same 6-step cycle. You generate a lead, you build trust, you send a proposal, you do the work, you handle the admin, and you follow up. Once you master this cycle in one high-stakes environment, you can replicate it anywhere. What you're really learning here are what we can call meta skills. These are those high-level, endlessly transferable abilities that go way beyond any single industry. We're talking about things like sales psychology, operations management, and automation design. Master these, and you can build just about anything. And ultimately, this is the whole philosophy in one sentence. Scaling isn't about brute force. It's not about just throwing more people at a problem. You don't build an empire by hiring more people. You build it by creating better systems that multiply the effort of the people you already have.
And that's it. That's the Contractors Code. It's a blueprint for turning chaos into clarity and turning your labor into an empire. So now you have the framework. The only question left is, what are you going to build first?